Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight podcast, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world to share their insights and expertise so we can all grow together. I am your host, Heidi, and I am the co-founder of the Spotlight to Scale Accelerator, where we drive revenue for companies by making sure they are seen as the authority and go-to expert in their industry versus just another product or service. And I have an incredible guest for you today. I'm excited to learn more about his company and his product. And so welcome Avinash Bansal to the show. He's with Tomo Club. Thank you so much for joining me today, Avinash.
Thank you so much for having me, Heidi.
Absolutely. I'm excited for our conversation because this is, like I was sharing with you behind the scenes, this is a little bit of a new industry for me. So I'm excited to learn from you. So can we start out by telling us who you are, what you do, and a little bit about how you got started or your journey?
No, absolutely. So I'm Avinash Bansal. I'm co-founder of Tomo Club, which is like short for Tomorrow Club.
Mm.
And what we do is we have a game-based curriculum for schools. Every school call it by different name. It can be a social emotional learning curriculum, leadership curriculum, character building, mental health. It has multiple names, but at the end of the day, it focuses on students' overall development around communication, collaboration, conflict resolution, how to work together as a team, um, skills around resource management. So all these soft skills, which we believe is relevant, not just from professional point of view, but also from personal point of view, especially in the age of AI.
Yeah.
And my background is I'm an engineer from background. I have ran two companies before Tomo Club. In the last company, it was into consumer electronics, where I took an exit. I also did my research from University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. And yeah, my main motivation behind Tomo Club has been my own entrepreneurship journey.
Oh,
So yeah.
amazing. What schools are you working with? Who's your clients that you work with? So I get an idea because I have children. So I'm really
Yeah.
interested in learning more about your product.
No, absolutely. I also have a 1 year old. So it always, makes me feel that I'm building things for him in a way.
Yeah.
Though we work from grade three onwards,
Okay.
because what we offer are multiplayer games where a group of kids sit together and play as a team. So there's a lot of communication. They have to collaborate a lot. And from grade three onwards, we have seen tremendous result up to high school. We recently started working with university as well for the
Okay.
undergrad and postgrad program. But yeah, that's our target audience. And we have been working with public school districts, private schools, charter schools, so you name it, Montessori schools.
Amazing. Can you share with us a little bit about what that curricula looks like? Because you're saying you're sharing that it's game based. So what is game based learning?
So I'll just give a little bit background of this entire industry looks like. So
Mm.
social emotional learning or leadership curriculums, it's not like they are something coming out of nowhere. There are competitors in our space which have been existing for last 40, 50 years. So the US education system is very mature in embracing these skills very early on. But the way it's been taught has not been very beneficial. Look at the numbers from the students' mental health issue point of view, or students' attendance rates have been tremendously low because they don't feel belonged, or bullying cases for the matter of fact. So this has way these skills have been taught is mostly through video-based curriculum. So what they would do is they would make the classroom sit together and watch a video, let's say on how to be a good leader or how to resolve conflicts. And of course, hardly 5% of the kids will be paying attention to those videos, let alone how many of them will actually apply those learnings.
Okay.
So when we started working in this industry, I actually went out and talked to the teachers, students, parents, and they were like, we want something which can make kids really happy about it, in such a way that they adopt it. And when you talk to kids, all of them love games,
Yeah.
irrespective of boys or girls. I don't know if you know this number. Like if you look at Roblox or Minecraft, the ratio of girl versus boys is pretty much same. So I think the answer was right in front of our eyes. There was skill gap, there was students' behavior of gaming, life skills. So I just took them all together and build this game-based curriculum. Now, when I say game-based curriculum, it's like, let's say we have a game on conflict management. So that game itself will ensure in the mechanics. There are moments where students will enter into a conflict, and the quicker they get out of it, they're gonna be better. So they have to take those hard decisions in a simulated environment, uh, which is very exciting, very quick, and teachers can see that students start to change their attitude within like 5 to 10 minutes.
Wow,
So
that's
I
fast.
so this is the Instagram world, right? People
Yeah.
want quick impact, you
Mhm.
know, and all our games are like that. You'll see there's a game on resource management. So you'll see when you play the game for first 5 minutes, you might be very bad at it. But then when you play the next round, you get like so quickly adapted to it that even the most notorious or most, disruptive kids, they even starts to align themselves. So that's how it works.
You shared so much there that I absolutely love. The first is that when it comes to creating a business, building a business, you really need to do your research first and find out what is the problem, right? What's the biggest problem that your audience has? And then how do I solve it? And you didn't guess to solve it. You didn't say, okay, well, this is what they need. You actually had the conversations. You had the conversations with the teachers from what they're seeing. But then you didn't just stop there. You actually talked to the people that are going to be using it, the kids. And I'm sure that empowered them to feel really valued, that their input matters. And so I love that piece that you shared. And I think for our listeners, that's a big takeaway. Like when if you're sitting here going, I know I want to start something, I know I want to help this group of people, this is what I'm going to do. It's time to take a step back and go, okay, how do I really get in the minds of these people? So I provide a product that they're actually going to want to use. And that's to have the conversations, communicate with those people, ask the questions, which is what you shared before we jumped on here. You're like, I'm open to ask questions. Feel free to ask anything you want. That's how we get information. That's how we solve problems. And that's how we create success for both us with our business, but also the people using our product or service. Love that. The second thing you shared was the gaming. I have kids. My son is 14. My daughter's 15. She's almost 16. So I have a boy and a girl. And like you said, it's pretty balanced with them using the Roblox and Minecraft. My son was younger. We had a Minecraft birthday party. That was the theme of one of,
Yeah.
and he still buys
Wow.
Roblox. He's still like, Mom, can I have this to buy Roblox? So they're both playing. She's not as much of a heavy gamer as he is. Like he's on it with his friends. You could hear him yelling in there and they're getting into it. So in education, the way the world was when I was going to school, I'm older now. So when I was going to school, we didn't have this technology. We had Atari. Maybe the new system was coming out, but now it's evolved so much and it's evolving so fast, which I want to dive into AI because you talked about that. You brought that up. But the one thing I noticed is it's important that education is evolving with it. And I love that you're doing this because you're helping education evolve to better train and guide and teach our leaders of tomorrow, which is our children. So we got to meet them where they are. What do they like to do if so we can help them learn better? So I went on a tangent there, but I loved everything you said because I have kids, so it hits home for me. So with AI rapidly transforming industries, what skills do you believe are most essentials for students to develop, and how is Tomo Club preparing them for this future?
No, that is the billion-dollar question, I would say right now. So I'll tell you my motivation for doing Tomo Club is when I was running my previous companies, I have hired and I have to sometimes let go also, like hundreds of people. And even in back in like 2015 to 2021, when I ran my previous companies, even back then when we were hiring, I would say I personally used to give more weightage to people's soft skills than their hard skills. Whether they are a coder, whether they're designer, salesperson, marketeer, accountant, because at the end of the day, if they can't work together as a team, they can't collaborate or articulate or be a good listener, which is highly underrated, it won't work out for us. Because even at back then, there were multiple resources of how you can develop your hard skills over like 2, 3 weeks or even a month.
Mhm.
Now the things have literally flipped. If I have to learn business administration, I honestly, with so many AI agents, can do it even faster. So the value of these social emotional competencies is even higher now because even intelligence is getting commoditized, I would say. First there were facts and figures getting commoditized, which was easily available.
Right.
And that's why you don't need to literally learn and remember things. Now, then the insights became a thing, how many people can make out conclusion out of data. Now, one step ahead is intelligence. That you have the data, you have the insights, can you build on top of it? Even that is getting commoditized now. So I think it's super important right now that how we work together as a team, how we do conflict management, how we do leadership qualities, emotional intelligence, that will be the key to success, both in personal life and professional life.
Mm.
And that was a main motivation for us to choose this field. And how AI is shaping us for us primarily in this product is, of course, it is helping us tremendously in game development, the narration, the game art, how we make sure the learning outcomes is the entire product development cycle is all AI powered right now.
Yeah.
But if I look at the user end, when the student play the game, we do a lot of AI based assessments also. So just imagine, even today, most of the assessments in the schools is survey based. So they will have these formative and summative assessments in which they will ask you 60 questions. And it is basically doesn't make sense because students end up filling all C or all A, and they're like, I want to be done with it. On the contrary, when you play a game, it tells a lot about your risk taking. It tells a lot about your communication or how you are solving a problem.
Mm.
So we can do a lot better students intervention after that. So I think game-based assessment with AI can be a much better way to check the learning outcomes than even a one-day exam, which can be bad for somebody on that
Yeah.
day and not show the real competency level of the student. So AI-based assessments, AI-based tutoring. So a lot of things are also coming up on that front.
Is AI part of the curricula that you teach the children? And you may have shared that, but I missed it because AI is not going away. It's only going to be evolving. I was talking with somebody on the show about in the ed tech space, and they were sharing how a lot of the universities and the high school, they're using a lot of written because they're worried about the children not learning using the AI to get their answers and things like that. So they're moving more toward paper again, which at the end of the day, that's not really going to help prepare them for the real world if we're not getting them involved, letting them use AI to their benefit. Obviously, they need to learn, right? But how do we bridge that gap where they're able to utilize AI so when they do go into the workforce, they're not behind others who have already been using it, especially when they've spent all this time getting their education, paying for their education, and now they're stuck in this space where they're like, well, wait a minute, I don't know how to utilize that. Are you incorporating that into the learnings in your program?
So you're right, you can't be away from it. So we don't have a AI-based curriculum. So it's not like we are teaching them the basics of AI or how
Right.
it works to the students. We're a social emotional learning competency curriculum. But what we do is we have these, so at the end of the term, end of the semester, we do these game design challenges in
Ah,
which we motivate kids to use AI, whether it's for design purposes or for the art, narrative or story, or even the coding part. So we never shy away from promoting kids to do it, but we don't teach them the basics like
right.
a curriculum, structured curriculum. But apart from that, in everyday basis, students are using it and we talk about it. There's no way. We have a couple of games which is around AI and everything else, but not directly teaching the concepts.
Well, if the schools aren't really teaching it, you're meeting the schools where they want you to meet them. So I can see why that's the case. My question is around now, like strategies. So what strategies are you all employing to engage educators in schools in adopting your platform, the Tomo Club?
So okay, there's a little context background again here is there is no dedicated social emotional learning educators in a school. So there are counselors, but those counselors are again not going class to class to take sessions.
Mhm.
Even if they do it maybe once a month, mostly they look at interventions or they're looking at students who need help for counseling. So the onus of teaching SEL comes down to the English teacher or a math teacher, and they do invest a lot of time, but then it's a conflict of interest for them. They would
Right.
rather teach their own curriculum at that time because that's what they will be analyzed for rather than teaching SEL. So it becomes a problem that how great the curriculum is, it will need a lot of energy from the teacher end
Mhm.
who's who will feel it's not their job. So that is a primary problem. So in our case, we have to go from a top to bottom approach. So it's mostly the school leaders, the principals, superintendents, assistant superintendents who will understand the need of this. And then they would like to deploy it school-wide or district-wide. But what we do is we want to make sure that the teachers who are doing it at the end of the day, they don't need to spend hours of professional development.
Mhm.
So each game is very inquisitive. They will, for them to set up a game is like less than 30 seconds. They can start the game, they can see students interacting, and the lesson plan is very simple. So our entire focus is sell to school leaders but make it easy for the teachers and exciting for the kids.
Mm, perfect. Because if the kids are excited, the teachers are happy, they're going to report to the leaders, and then they're going to want to continue working or even spread the word more, even more to other schools. So when you were starting, or even now, what challenges did you face in integrating interactive multiplayer games into the educational curricula? And how did you overcome those challenges?
So in terms of integrating that technology, it was not a big challenge because thank in a good way, after COVID and during COVID, a lot of schools have started doing one-to-one device in the US. So I think right now 95% to 96% of the students in the US has one-to-one device
Mhm.
right from K to 12.
Yeah.
So the tech infrastructure is very mature in that way. Plus, there were a lot of game-based programs in STEM. There were math
Okay.
curriculum. Like there's company like Splash Math, Prodigy, which does these kind of game-based math activities. There are science games. There are some history games, which are like narrative games. So thankfully, because of other players in the space, there has been a sense of acceptance towards
Mm,
it.
okay, that's good.
Games were not looked at, oh damn, it's such a negative thing. But in social emotional competencies, there were none. So we were, and we still are, I would believe, are one of the only ones who are doing this in this particular space.
Mm,
So that was not a problem, I would say, integrating it because of the acceptance. The biggest problem I would say is the sales process in itself, because not blaming the schools over here at all, but the problem is that it's about your kids. So they need to have a higher trust factor in choosing a product and a program. So, but the problem is that they will have once a year purchasing time. So, so even if I'm talking to schools right now, they
mm,
will be end up purchasing in August for the September semester. So
right.
it's like I'll be like working on 8 months before they actually to get started. So it's painful in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the challenge right now.
Yeah, that's the process, right? Unfortunately, with working with the school system, there's always the red tape that you have to move through, and it's a process. Let's talk a little bit about the future. Many times there's a lot of red tape when it comes to the info moving through a school system. They have their, ways of doing things, so it can be slower than we want. So it's definitely a process. So I want to talk a little bit about the future and what you're seeing.
Yeah.
So how do you see the future of game-based learning in education? And what role is Tomo Club playing in that evolution?
So I think the future is very bright. When especially mentioned about the assessment technologies, I think people have started to realize that if they give them assignments or if the teachers are holding exams, it's not the best way to assess kids. So I think anything which can be real time assessment, it can be the next big thing in education. So I think gaming solves that. Also, I think the future of schools is going to be a place where, as a parent, I want to send my child to kind of make friends, to network, right? To have these collaborative strategies because education is getting commoditized. The facts and figures, even tutoring is
Mhm.
through getting commoditized because of AI. So, what will be the whole point of a school premises? It will be about networking and socializing. So,
Mhm.
I think whether it's game-based learning or whether it's project-based learnings, these things are gonna explode further, and parents will start questioning that. For example, when my colleagues were going to B school, they were checking out schools based on the fact that who all are coming to that school. So the higher ed ideology is gonna trickle down to K-12, and parents will start choosing school depending on how high they make my child interactive or communicative. So I
Mhm.
think that might flip around the way schools are envisioned. I think game-based learning has a big role to play there.
I agree with that because my son has always been in the school, whether it was private school or the public school. He's been in both. My daughter has not. She's been private school, homeschooled, not by me. That's not my cup of tea. But she's been either homeschooled with with her private coach, or she's been in the virtual school system. And now she is back in the schools, like the brick and mortar, because she's in
Mhm.
high school now. And we're like, we want you to have that socialization, just like you said, building those relationships, networking, getting to know people on different level. So yeah, virtual school has definitely had an impact, I think, on the schools, on the brick and mortar schools, and that option, right? And parents have more flexibility. They're working from home, they can travel.
Yeah.
So it's really important for schools now to find another way to inspire parents or have influence parents to say, you know what, this is where they need to be to get that networking. So yeah, I completely agree with you 100% because we've seen it. We've done all of it.
In fact, there are a lot of homeschooling charter schools who are a part of our program, who have adopted our program.
Mm,
And the value is because it can be virtually done. So all the students join through Zoom, and
yeah,
then there's a moderator who is conducting the session, and the students break out into breakout rooms for playing the game among themselves and then come to common room to discuss about it. So we have been very successfully able to do it on an online setup. And even answering to your first part, right? How you're thinking about the next future. I think homeschooling in a group setting is called micro school. I'm not sure if you know about it. So basically, if you are a parent and you want to teach not just your child, but also few more children in the neighborhood, so you can call yourself a micro school at home. And then that edupreneur, in a way, is kind of deciding what structured curriculum should be taught to the children. And you won't believe right now there are, I think, 5 million homeschooling kids in the US itself.
wow.
So this change is also increasing day by day. So we do see ourselves fitting right there as well. And they have less painfully shorter cycle because it's an individual you are end up selling to
Yeah.
for a group of kids. So that can also, counter the issue of long sales cycle.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that because yeah, virtual schooling is not going away. So how can your product help them as well? So as Tomo Club continues to grow, what are your priorities as far as growing and scaling your business while maintaining impact and innovation?
So my first priority is to make sure that more students are using it. Plus, I think what we want is if a child goes from grade 3 to grade 4, he or she will have a new set of games. So we
Mm,
want to keep sure that our curriculum is dynamic and it's not like a repetitive same thing every now and then. So even in the grade 3, every session that we do is a new game. So basically, the students are always on the edge of the seat, whether they don't know what's going to happen to them, and that keep them excited. So I want to make sure that excitement factor should be always high for every particular session, let alone grade wise. So building up new games has always been our continuous effort. Making it easier and easier for schools is definitely priority. But if you talk on a longer horizon, I believe that how we actually have these grades for college admission
mm,
or how these grades become an important part of our future deciding career. I think emotional quotient or SCL competency might also find its way into people's resume very soon so that it's like a standardized EQ test kind of thing. So, okay, these are just I think as a founder, you always think of contrarian or you're thinking ahead of the curve, like a trend
yeah.
setting. So I do think that there's a big possibility of having these new measurement of competencies coming into our regular resumes.
So, Avinash, for somebody listening right now and they're like, oh, this is amazing. I want to learn more, whether they're working for a school, they're a leader of a school, or they're a parent and they're like, you know what, my children could use this. How do they reach out to you? How do they connect with you?
So they can definitely reach out to our website. It's tomoclub.org. And on the website, there's a free game as well, which they can play with their family as well on a weekend. It's super easy to host and to play this game as a group. At the same time, there's also an option to book a demo there. So in case you want to do it, you want us to do it, we have account managers who will conduct the sessions for you. So yeah, just go to our website, tomoclub.org, and you can experience it.
Amazing. So I'm gonna go check it out and play the game. I'm gonna when my kids get home. Yeah, we'll have some fun. So it's a great bonding moment too. Have some fun with your kids. So thank you, Avinash, so much for being here. And for all of you listening, definitely connect with Avinash. We will have all of his links that he's sharing in our show notes. So if you're driving, if you're out and about and you just can't check it out right now, come back and grab that information there. But definitely reach out to Avinash. Go to tomoclub.org to check out the product. It sounds incredible. I've been checking out your website and what you're doing is really just, I think it's amazing. And I'm really excited that you were a yes to coming on this show. So I want to thank you for that. Is there
Absolutely.
anything that I did not ask you or that you want to share that we didn't open that door for you to do that?
No, I think we did cover up I think most of the points there. So yeah, it was amazing talking to you.
Amazing. Thank you. It's been so exciting. I can't wait to go to your website and check it all out. So thank you again, Avinash, for being on today when spending time with me. Thank you all for listening. If you're feeling your business is blending in and you're ready to grow your visibility, be seen as the expert in your space and scale to the next level, then go grab your free Spotlight to Scale blueprint. You can go to spotlighttoscale.com/blueprint and you can download it quick and for free. Thank you again, Avinash, for being here with me today. For those of you listening, go to tomoclub.org, go connect with Avinash, and go play that free game and check out his amazing product. And we will see you on the next episode of the Business Growth Spotlight.